Okay, this tutorial is all about vocals and going to look through a vocal chain. It's for a track called Serotonin Rushes by Fujiro Miyagi. It's a band I'm in, but also a band that I mix and work on the production side of things with Steve. So if you wanted to listen to the original, it's up on Spotify. Here's the project. I'll play a little sliver of it and just to hear an idea.
Pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling. Keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling. Keep on.
So it's got quite whispered vocals, and the challenge there is to get them to sit on top of the rest of the band, which is quite disco orientated. You can hear there's arpeggio sequences going, there's a live bass, live drums. So getting those vocals, which are very whispered delivery, to sit on top can be a challenge. And if we listen back to it before I mix anything, the first thing to do is just to sit and have a listen and actually decide what it needs. So with the vocal soloed, let's just get to...
You know what happens, you keep pulling on the string. Everything starts slowly unraveling if you keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing.
Expertly recorded by Julian Tardo at Church Road Studios, so it's already a good vocal to work on. The dynamics in it, if we can even see by the waveform, you can tell it's been compressed. The dynamics are controlled, and it's already a good sounding vocal. There's not too much sibilance in it. But what I did notice was the low end. It's quite boomy, and the plosives, the P's and B's, are quite booming. If I just find this word.
You know what happens, you keep pulling on the string.
You can hear the p. It sort of booms, especially when you're in headphones. So often the first thing to do is just tweak the tonal balance. And with a vocal, it's often, if it's been close mic recorded in a studio, often they are too bassy, unless your vocalist was standing quite far away from the microphone. So let's just use a Logic EQ. And if we actually look at that, we have the analyzer in here. We can see what it's doing.
Everything, you know what happens, you keep pulling on the string.
You can hear this kind of 50 hertz region goes boonk when particularly the word pulling and the happens. There's like a blast of air that does that.
You know what happens, you keep pulling on the string.
So the first thing would be just to cut that. I often do a high pass, sort of to 50 or something like that, and then a slightly more gentle low end roll off for the rest of it. If we just try that out and then listen.
You know what happens, you keep pulling on the string.
Great, so we've sorted that out. It sounds good to me. Let's move forward. Moving quickly when mixing is a key thing to do, because otherwise you just start driving yourself a bit crazy listening to the same thing over and over again. The analogy is a little bit like if you say the same word over and over again, the word starts to sound weird even when it isn't. So beware of that. Keep moving forwards quickly when you mix, otherwise you might end up obsessing over things that are irrelevant, or you might think things sound wrong when actually they're fine. So what else? Let's keep listening.
You know what happens, you keep pulling on the string. Everything starts slowly unraveling if you keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing, keep on pulling.
So the next thing that strikes me listening to it dry like that is the breaths here and here. Let's just listen to those again. They're quite loud. I've just done a video that posted, but if you haven't seen this, let's have a brief look at that quickly. So
Then if you keep on
So the drawing in of breath there is kind of loud. There's a few ways of doing it. We could gate it. Now I've got rid of the boominess. I'm just going to shift that forwards a little bit and put a gate on at the beginning. So dynamics, noise gate. And generally for a vocal, attack time of 3 milliseconds. I want it to open up pretty much as soon as possible. So a quick attack time is good here, 3 milliseconds. Anything less than 3, you sometimes get clicks, so 3 is fine. The release time though, 10 milliseconds, that means it's pretty much gating like a chop, a slice, which is too quick for me. So I usually put it up around 300 milliseconds or something. So you get a slightly more gentle closing of the gate. The other thing is to give it a bit of a look ahead. What that means is that the plugin is looking 3 milliseconds ahead of where we are, so it can catch the opening, catch the vocal when it should open in time. Let's just listen back and see where we are with this threshold.
Slowly unraveling if you keep on.
So the threshold is set too low, the gate is constantly open. Let's bring the threshold up so that the gate closes. Maybe start at something around 20 or something.
Pulling, keep on pushing.
There we go. Now the gate is set too high, and you can see the lights. It's closing halfway through words, and we can actually hear it as well.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
You can hear it's kind of chopping it up a little bit. So that threshold is too high. Let's bring it down a little bit. It's trial and error. Don't listen to anyone who says, oh yeah, always set it to this setting, because I mean, it's completely dependent on the audio. You just have to tweak it until you find the sweet spot for whatever given audio part you've got.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. You take the
and that's working much better now. We can see it's closing at the end of each word, and actually it's gating off the breaths. It's doing a gain reduction of minus 100 decibels, so it's cutting it, which is way more than we can hear. So I think perhaps rather than it shutting completely, perhaps let's just have it as a little reduction. Try 10 or so dB reduction to see what it sounds like.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on pulling.
It's not bad. So it's closing to minus 10. The vocals, the drawing of breath is still a bit loud, so let's try minus 15.
Pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. You take the minus.
It's better. So we were using a gate. That's the quick and dirty method. Actually, I tend to not use gates because I'm always nervous that when you do a bounce out, even if you've listened to it 1,000 times, I'm always nervous that the gate doesn't quite catch it or something like that. So I tend to go in and do it manually with automation. In fact, if I just get this one up for a sec and press A to show automation, you can see I've manually drawn curves in for each kind of gap between each vocal. So it doesn't take that long to do. And you end up having way more control. Let's just mute that one again. Back to our dry one. Great. So we use the noise gate method to start off with, and it's sounding better. Let's unsolo it and hear it in context with the rest of the track.
And leave me with the places. My sweet serotonin in rushes. Keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
The vocal is sounding quite kind of thin and isolated, a little bit like it's on its own. It's not dominating in the track. I'm going to bring it forward a touch more with a bit of gentle compression, and favourite usually on a vocal is a combination of 1176 and then an LA2A. Usually I would use an 1176 to catch the peaks, but looking through this one, there aren't actually that many peaks. I can see it, and if you were to listen to it all the way through, you can hear there's no moments where the vocal really jumps out. So I would use the 1176 to grab those bits where the vocal spikes out, but the Julian, the recording engineer, has already done that job for us. So I'm just going to bring the vocal forward a little bit with a slightly more softer compressor. And we've got two options, either the Waves one, the CLA2A, is a good one. That's kind of, it's nice and easy. It's got a gain and a peak reduction. I love things that are very simple with only two knobs on it. I can set that. So let's...
keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
Let's bring that peak. You can hear it's gone a bit louder, so maybe drop down. I think there's even a preset which is default full reset. There we go. So when that's set to 30, that shouldn't be boosting.
Keep on pulling.
Yeah, so that's a good starting point. So then bring up the peak reduction until it starts dropping the level of the voice.
Pulling, keep on pushing. You take the minuses and leave me with the pluses.
There we go.
My sweet serotonin in rushes. Keep on pulling.
Great. So around there, it's starting to grab the vocal. The nice thing about the LA2A compressor is that it uses a thing called an optical circuit inside it. It's actually a little light that lights up in concert with the volume of the input range, and then it has a little light dependent resistor that actually controls the circuit. What does that mean? Well, it means because the lamp takes a little bit of time to light up and then a bit of time to dim, you have quite a gradual soft envelope on the compressor. Notice the LA2A doesn't have attack or release times, and depending on how hard it compresses, it adjusts the attack and the release adjusts. What we end up is just quite a musical, natural sounding compression. You'll find that you can drive the compressor quite hard and it still sound nice. Of course, it's now dropping the volume by 3, maybe -7 dB. So we're going to need a little bit of makeup gain because it's quieter. We need to bring the gain back up so we can hear it.
Keep on pushing. Keep on pulling. Keep on pushing. Keep on pulling. Keep on pushing.
That's a little bit better. And incidentally, I don't want to be selling Waves plugins here. Let's turn that off because we might just see how we do dynamics on Waves compressor, on the Logic compressor. Vintage Opto, I was talking about this optical little light thing, that's why it's called an opto compressor. So let's do the same thing again. I'm going to set the ratio to sort of around there. Start off with the threshold at 0. Turn off auto gain and put a little bit of soft distortion. We'll hear the difference in a sec. And let's do the same again. Let's bring the threshold down until we see some gain reduction.
Keep on pulling. Keep on pushing. Keep on pulling. Keep on pushing. Keep on.
Good. And then bring up the volume.
Keep on pushing. Keep on coming. Keep on coming.
I'll turn off the distortion. You'll see what it does. It kind of mimics the valve output stage of this compressor. It gives it a little bit of saturation. Not so much full-on distortion, but what we hear is a presence boost in the vocal. It works great on a vocal because it helps the voice stand out. It's good on snare drums as well. Let's turn it off. and then I'll play it, and then I'll flip it on and off, and you can hear hopefully the difference.
I can feel the endorphins kicking in, kicking in, kicking in. You take the minuses and leave me with the pluses. Oh, my sweet serotonin rushes.
So it's very subtle, but I think it always sounds better, so I tend to always stick that soft on. Great. So the difference between the two, I don't know if there is much of a difference. Let's solar it and let's A-B them between.
Keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing.
Our compressor is doing a bit more than that, the Waves one, so let's just ease off it.
Pushing, pushing, keep on coming, coming, keep on coming, coming. I can feel the endorphins kicking in, kicking in, kicking in. You take the minuses and leave me with the pluses. Oh, my,
And just A-B them again.
oh, my sweet serotonin rushes. Wait, I'm still thinking. I can feel us disintegrating. I think we're gradually coming up.
It's still hitting a bit harder, this one, so let's drop it levels down a bit more.
Apart at the seams. I think deep down you probably agree. Phew. Keep on coming, coming, keep on coming, coming.
Not a huge amount of difference between the two, really. To me, there's something in the top end that is maybe a little bit smoother. I don't know. If you start A-Bing plugins against each other, it's surprising how little difference there are. Logic's plugins are great. I wouldn't say that you need to go out and buy loads of Waves and things. So let's move on. We've compressed it, but we were saying that it sounds a bit thin. So a couple of things. I usually use some kind of doubling effect. Now that may be an actual doubler. In Logic, we have choruses and ensembles, which give you that kind of effect. If I put ensemble on it, they're not quite the same though, but if I put a little bit on it.
Keep on coming, coming, keep on coming, coming.
And if I bring that stereo spread up a little bit, mix it a bit more in.
You paint the silences with broad strokes.
To me, it sounds a bit too spacey, a bit too... it's a cool effect, and it sounds great on pads and things. So that's one thing that Logic doesn't have, is a good doubler. So alternatives, there are some Waves ones. There's Waves Doubler, which is quite nice. And they also do like an Abbey Road thing, real ADT, mono to stereo can be quite good. My favourite one that I tend to use is actually a delay. And we can do that just with a Logic delay. So if we go to stereo delay, mono to stereo, because what I want to do is turn it from a mono thin vocal that's right in the middle to give it a little bit of spread. So let's choose mono to stereo. And I'm going to use the filters just to cut out some of the low end because I don't want it to muddy up my mix. So let's drop some in 200 hertz or something like that. I'm going to turn off tempo sync because I'm going to make it very short. Let's bring these right back down and let's make one. Let's listen to that first. Feedback 0 on both sides. And let's just see what it does.
Strokes from brushes. My sweet.
You can hear it sounds kind of like a bit like a phaser-y sort of sound. And if I move the delay time, we'll hear it more as a phaser.
Serotonin rushes.
And as soon as you get into like more than 10 or something, our brain then identifies it as a second voice. And it suddenly, and if you're wearing headphones, you'll hear it ping out. So let's make one something 30 and 120, and let's, with them different, it will sound like two new vocals.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
And I'll again take off the effect so you can hear.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
I really like this effect, and it really kind of gives the vocal body. If we put it in context again and listen in the track.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on coming, keep on coming. I can feel the adrenaline kicking in.
It really kind of makes it sound like a record. It sounds less like a vocal that's on its own, and you can sort of imagine someone in a studio, and that little short delay trick just makes it sort of blend in and fit with the music, and you forget that it's a naked vocal. When you add it, it does get a bit quieter, and often after that I might put some kind of very light distortion. If I get the Logic Overdrive, it's a favourite. The default puts it to quite a hard drive, but if you put it down to 0, bring the tone all the way up. This is a low pass filter, so we don't want it cutting off any of our top end. And just listen to it.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
It's pulling it right forward out of the mix, a bit too far. So let's just pull that back a touch, maybe 1 dB.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
Great, we're getting there. It's sounding much better. If we duplicate this just to hear what we've done, and grab this track, copy it down, just so we have one. I'm going to reset that, reset channel strip. Before and after kind of vibe. So before, let's...
I think we're gradually coming apart at the seams.
And after?
I think deep down you probably agree.
Cool. Subtle, but really suddenly makes the vocals feel like a record. That's good. Let's mute that. Finally, I don't know if you noticed, the pushing has the sh sound, and that is grating in my ears. Listen out for it again. I'll play that bit back.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
That sh is sticking out. So perhaps the final little bit of polish we're going to do is something to reduce that. Logic's de-esser is good, but I don't know, for some reason I never quite get the result that I want out of it. An alternative is a multiband compressor. So Dynamics, there's multipressor, Logic's multipressor, and we've looked at this before. Now the sh is probably in this range here, the high mids between 1 and 6K or something like that. If we weren't sure, we can solo. So click solo. Let's solo the vocal as well.
Pulling, keep on pushing.
Yeah, it's definitely that region. So what we can do is compress that region, but not compress anything else. In fact, we could just focus in on that even more using these little sidebars. I reckon it's somewhere near sort of around there.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on coming, keep on coming. I can feel the adrenaline kicking in.
Let's rewind to find the pushing.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing.
Yeah, it's kind of there, isn't it? So let's bring the threshold down on just band 3. You can either do it there or grab the little triangle.
Keep on coming, keep on coming.
Get back to the pushing.
Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on pulling, keep on pushing. Keep on coming, keep on coming.
You can see it's dipping when in the pushing.
Pulling, keep on pushing, pushing.
So we're only compressing those little bits. It's great. A multi-band compressor is such a useful tool for EQing in a way. Let's take that solo off. Check it's not done anything weird to our vocal.
Pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling.
Going to widen it a little bit and bring that level down a bit more.
Keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling. Keep on pushing, pushing. Keep pulling, keep on pushing, pushing.
Yeah, that's harsh.
Keep on pulling, pulling. Keep on pushing, pushing.
That's taken the edge off it, I think. I might do a little bit more to the low end as well. So going to bring this up to sort of just handle. Actually, that's not. Yeah, that's about 500. So that's just because it still seems quite low and boomy.
Keep on pulling, pulling. Keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling. Keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling. Keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling.
That's controlling that low end now. So I'm just, if I solo that so we know what we're listening to.
Pulling, keep on pushing, pushing.
You can hear that's like the fudge of the vocal. Solo number 2.
Keep on pulling, pulling.
That's kind of the main pitch of our vocal, often between like 400 and 2K or something. And then the sibilance, the sh is there, and the sibilance tss, up at the top. To get it to sizzle out a little bit more, I'm going to bring that to control some of the S's. I think at the beginning it says stop. Let's find that.
Stop. Stop.
Yeah, that S whistles, doesn't it? So let's focus on there.
Stop.
You can hear that's quite tss. So let's use our compressor, bring the range down until we see it reduce the S without reducing anything else. Rewind it.
Stop. Picking. Hose in.
There, it's kind of dropping in this, but leaving the rest of the vocal out. So it's just calming those frequencies down a bit. Now we've calmed them, I might actually boost them a little bit. So let's grab that little line there, bring it up a couple of dBs or something. There's the, if you wanted to actually look, that's 2.5 decibels there. And take off solo and let's hear it.
Everything. You know what happens, you keep pulling on the string. Everything starts slowly unraveling if you...
It's the final little icing, and I think that's sorted out. We've controlled our low end, the boominess. We've controlled the shh sounds because they were cutting through your ears a bit too hard. And we're also controlling the S's right in the top. I find the multiband much better for doing that compared to the de-esser, because you just have much more control over it. Let's hear it in the mix.
Keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. You take the minuses and leave me with the pluses. My sweet serotonin in rushes. Keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on pulling, keep on pushing, pushing. Keep on coming, coming.
So that's where we got from.
Keep on coming, coming. I can feel the endorphins kicking in. You take the minuses and leave me with the pluses.
And that's where we got to. So definitely better, and it's definitely gluing to the record. Hopefully we covered some things that are useful to you. There might be some of you saying, why have you put a stereo delay as an insert effect? Surely you could use it as a send. You're right. I mean, I'd kind of force of habit, I'd do it on the vocal there. But we could turn that off and do it as a send effect instead.
Oh, my sweet serotonin rushes. Wait, I'm still thinking. I can feel us disintegrating. I think we're gradually coming apart at the seams. I think deep down you probably agree.
Sounds great on headphones, and it definitely thickens up that vocal. If you had the luxury of having the vocalist there, or if you were the vocalist on your own, then try recording it as different takes. So you do your main, then you do a left-hand side one, and then a right-hand side one. You might get an even better effect. But if you don't have that option, using the stereo delay is great. So it still sounds good. Great. Any questions, just drop me an email or put it in the comments. All right, thanks. Bye.